How we doing, guys? And it's finished. Port Vale 0, Arsenal 2. And that was a very comfortable evening in the Carabao Cup. And yeah, we get ourselves through to the next round. By the time this video goes out, we'll actually know who we're facing in the next round. I think the draw is in around about 20 minutes or so. Some potential big games in there. If we ended up with a Man City, a Newcastle, Tottenham, somebody like that, Chelsea still in there, Liverpool in there. But you could also end up with somebody like Wrexham or Grimsby, who, of course, beat Manchester United. So, yeah, listen, you'd like a home tie, especially if it's against one of those, top sides and you're battling it out against, another Premier League side. But listen, at the end of the day, it's the cup and anything can happen. But yeah, listen, this was one of those games that was easy on paper, but maybe not as easy or as pleasing on the eye as some would like. Now, one of the biggest issues that we have right now is that everybody seems to think that real life football is like playing Football Manager or you're playing FIFA. And if you're playing a team like Port Vale, the score should be 10-0. It's unrealistic. It's just silly. And when you're looking at other results as well, Man City winning 2-0 against another League One side, it's not as easy as you might think. And when I look at that game, what I saw from that game was players getting minutes that they needed to. And it very much felt like a training game. It felt like we played the game at the pace we wanted to play it. Players were kind of just going through the motions, not overexerting themselves, risking any injuries or anything else, and just doing enough and getting the job done. I'd like to have got the second goal a lot earlier. Eze could have got the second goal, his second goal of the game before half-time, and then maybe things would have opened up a little bit more. But the reality is that Kepa was making his debut, hasn't played a single minute this season, and he faced 0 shots on target. 0. We had 81% possession. So that just shows that we controlled and dictated the play and the tempo the way we wanted to dictate it. Some players got minutes where I was kind of looking and going, I wouldn't like him coming on and, but at the end of the day, it is what it is. It's, 60 minutes in the legs for Bukayo Saka. It's more minutes in the tank for William Saliba. It's Eze's first goal for the club. So there's a lot of positives in there. Ethan Nwaneri playing 90-odd minutes. Max Dowman getting a good 30 minutes of the game. Martinelli getting plenty of minutes. Christian Norgard getting his first minutes for the club. Miles Lewis-Skelly getting an opportunity. Ben White coming back from injury. Again, there's so many positives that you can take from that. But obviously, there will be people that can't look at any positives and they will only ever look at the negatives. They can't ever be impartial. They can't ever be happy. Everything's constant moaning. I moan more than anyone most of the time, don't get me wrong, but you've got to have balance to it. You've got to be able to look at positives, look at negatives, see what outweighs what, and be constructive in what you say. But a lot of people are not constructive. They're just all out abuse towards the manager because they don't like him. And like I said, they've spent too long sat on FIFA playing against teams like Port Vale, in career mode and winning 8-0, 9-0, 10-0 and whatever, and thinking that when it happens in real life, you're going to go out there and you're going to replicate that. You're going to score 8 goals, 9 goals, 10 goals. And that's just never going to happen. Sometimes it does. But for the majority, it doesn't. That's the reality. They had their biggest attendance in this game since the late 90s. That's how big a game this was. The crowd are up for it. The players are up for it. It's a once in a lifetime opportunity. But yet we completely dictated and controlled the game. Never felt like we were under threat. And just did what we had to do. It was like a pre-season match where you're just getting minutes in, playing some players that haven't played so far, and just kind of getting a feel of the ball and just dictating what we do on the pitch. But yet some people still got moan. Honestly, it bores the life out of me now. But yeah, listen, Eberechi Eze gets his first goal for the club. Really lovely move as well. Really good finish within the opening 10 minutes. And then, like I said, we just kind of, dictated the play without any real penetration. But there was one moment where we got in and, Eze should have scored. But saying that, it was a really good save as well with his feet, and give the goalkeeper some credit. It wasn't like it was a horrendous miss. But, yeah, Trossard comes off the bench in the second half, scores a really good goal. And he's such a good impact sub. And that's the thing. I understand he's going to start some games, but I think he's more benefit to the club when he's coming off the bench and doing things like this and making an impact. So Martinelli played on the left. I'd rather him play centrally because this is more of a Martinelli that we see that, doesn't really get that involved. So I'd like to have seen him as a number 9, but he wasn't. But listen, at the end of the day, it wasn't the worst game, was it? But yeah, listen, at the end of the day, like I say, and it's one of those games where you've just kind of got to make sure you be professional, you get the job done, you set out and, implement the ideas that have been given to you and get the job done. Move on to the next round. And that's the most important thing at the end of the day. And like I was saying, when you're looking, I'll have a look at this now just because I haven't seen what all the results were. But to pull it into context, you're looking at Liverpool at home to Southampton. It was another late goal that they go and win that game. Man City winning 2-0 against Huddersfield. Why is nobody screaming from the rooftops that they never beat them 8-9, 10-0? You're looking at Tottenham 3-0, but they were at home against Doncaster. So, come on. At the end of the day, apart from probably Brighton, I saw some ridiculous goals in that game. There weren't no real games that, were walkovers, shall we say. But yeah, you're looking at it and you're thinking to yourself, who could we possibly get next round? I've already said you've got the likes of Liverpool, Newcastle, Tottenham, Man City, but you could have a Wrexham in there, a Brighton, Cardiff, Wickham, Fulham, Chelsea, Wolves. There's some interesting ties there, some really interesting ties. Swansea, Crystal Palace, Grimsby, Brentford. Yeah, by the time this goes out, we'll know who we're facing, and I'm not really bothered who we get as long as we play at home. That's what I would want anyway. So, listen, we got the job done. It's through to the next round, and that's all that matters. So let me know in the comment section what you thought about the game and who you enjoyed watching and what the best performance was. And yeah, listen, if you haven't already, make sure you hit the subscribe button, smash a like on this video, and I will see you lot soon. I'm out of here.